Let's talk about everything that meditation is not. We've heard a lot of talks about what meditation is, what you should be doing, this and that. This is basically what meditation is not. First of all, meditation doesn't take willpower. If you gather your willpower to do meditation, you're coming off the wrong angle. The only willpower used in meditation is to get up and go and sit for meditation. At that point, willpower ends, which gets us to the next topic. Willpower comes from ego. So if your name is Nancy Smith, as long as there's a Nancy Smith in the meditation session, you're not in meditation. Because meditation is that feeling of losing the rational thinking self, losing the first name, the last name. You're melting inward like a candle. And where are you going? You're going to the most authentic, natural self that exists within you. People miss their childhood so much. You know, when you talk to people, so many of them say, my best memories was when I was 3 to 6 years old. I was spontaneous, I was optimistic, I was playful. What is meditation? Meditation is melting inward to connect with your most authentic self, which has many ingredients of your childhood. So if you have ego, if Nancy Smith wants to gather willpower to meditate, that won't work. The only willpower is to get up, to go and meditate. After that, it's complete release, release, surrender, release. Another thing to mention is you cannot have a goal in meditation. You know, people fall in love with meditation so much that they establish goals. They say, okay, between this workshop and the next workshop, I'm going to have 22 minutes of non-thought. Because in this workshop, I had 10 minutes of non-thought. And the goal ruins it immediately. Why? Because the goal is also coming from the one named Nancy. It's coming from ego. The moment ego wants to get a hand into the meditation, that's the end of the meditation. No goal, no willpower. Another thing to mention is some people say, well, I'm a project-oriented person. When I have things to do, I stay more focused. So I would like to adopt meditation as something that I do. And then that's the other bad news. Meditation is not about doing anything. If you really think about your deepest meditations, you're sitting with eyes closed, you're mindful, you're a passive, kind of a passive observer of passing thoughts, emotions, physical sensations. You're not responding, you're not reacting. Because you're not reacting, because you're just observing, and because you're soaking everything in, then you're not doing anything. We can substitute one word for another. Instead of doingness, we say beingness. So once a day, you sit and you just be. And then you get a thought and you still be. And then you get an emotion and you still be. I'm going to give you a nice analogy about what meditation should be like. Meditation is about inviting everything. You just invite everything in and have them pass through you. Here's the analogy. If you take a cup of salt and pour it into a teacup and you try to drink that tea, it'll be too salty because the cup is too constricted, too small. But if you go to the Colorado River and you pour the same amount of salt, the river is just going to allow the salt to wash through it. When you're meditating, you're like the Colorado River. In other words, let's say you lost a cousin in a motorcycle accident when you were 15. And that really hurts to this day. That really hurts. In my analogy, the death of that cousin is the cup of salt. And if you're sitting in meditation as Nancy and you're somewhat constricted, then when the memory of the cousin comes, you're saying, no, 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 don't come because that memory is going to make me sad. You're not being the river. But if you open yourself up and say, come on in. I want everything to come in. I want thoughts to come in. I want emotions to come in. I want physical sensations to come in. I'm a river. So no matter how much salt you pour into me, I've got so much water in me, I'm just going to cleanse it. And the one named Nancy won't be able to do that because there's this identity of I have a first name, last name, passport number, social security number. So the one named Nancy is too small. She can't be a river. What am I advising here? Sit into meditation. Every time you exhale, you say, expand, expand, flow. Every time you exhale, flow. I'm expanding. Come on in, because I'm just expanding. I'm just flowing. You adopt the attitude of a river. And you let everything in. However, if you let everything in as Nancy, you might be sad or angry. But if you watch, if you witness, and just watch, allow, watch, and let the thing go through you. So sadness comes, you allow it, you watch it, and then you become a piece of Kleenex and it goes through you. That's meditation. And meditation is the process of melting inward. What I'm saying is, in meditation, you're not trying to become a greater person. Let's say there's an ex-alcoholic who says, Kambiz, I don't really like myself. I like to become an athlete with rosy cheeks and no more whiskey. So I would like to become someone greater. And that's a mistake. In real meditation, you're not becoming someone else. You are melting inward. As you melt inward, you're going to recover that 6-year-old, joyful, spontaneous person. You're melting inward and you're joining your most authentic, natural self. That's who you're becoming. You're not becoming a saint. You know, just symbolically speaking. A saint might really help you, but if it's a true saint, they will help you find and recover your most authentic, natural self. Which then gets us to the next point. Meditation's got to be done with love. You don't meditate in order to get self-love. The self-love and meditation have to happen simultaneously. In other words, you love yourself, therefore you meditate. You meditate, therefore you melt into your core and recover your most natural, authentic self. If you ever get to a point where you're feeling contented, you breathe easy under your own skin, you're not interested in comparing your beauty or your wealth to somebody else, you're just contented, peaceful, you like yourself. That's meditation. But meditation must begin with self-love. You don't meditate in order to get self-love. Also, if you're an extremely rational, scientific, kind of a dry thinker, that's not going to do. In meditation, you open up to spontaneity. Every session is going to be different from the other session. There is no ration involved. Another thing to mention, meditation is not a technique. If you don't establish a relationship with something holy, hopefully within, if you don't establish a relationship with something holy within, then you're just practicing technique. Technique is not going to get you to the deepest meditation. In Kriya Yoga, you close your eyes, you invite the life-giving breath in. You establish a relationship with the force that's coming in with the breath to give you life. You fall in love with the force that's coming in to give you life. And that force is going straight to the middle of your heart. So you follow a breath into the middle of your heart, and then you fall in love with your own heart. It has nothing to do with your weight, how much money is in your wallet, what kind of car you drive. If you achieve contentment, self-love, clarity of mind, the good car, the nice figure, the fat wallet, all of that comes. Now, speaking about technique, a lot of people raise flags and they say, come and join our group because we are Buddhists. And the other ones raise a flag and say, come and join us. We do Kriya Yoga. And the third group says, we are Muslims. And the fourth group says, we're Jews. And everybody's saying, join this path because this path really works. My experience is every single path is a process of melting inward. You take a breath to the center of your heart. You start to feel relaxed with yourself. You put away the defensiveness. You ask everything to flow in while you observe, while you breathe. You let everything go through you. You become the Colorado River. So a pinch of salt doesn't make you salty. I'm flowing. I'm expanding. Come on in. I invite thoughts. I invite emotions. I let them go through me because I'm a river. I'm flowing. In the process, you are melting inward like a candle. You are touching the essence of your heart when you were a child. So instead of you meditating because you want to become a saint, you're meditating because you want to be you. That's the greatest religion. This is a personal opinion. The greatest religion, become you, love you, feel easy with you, breathe into you, and then everything blossoms. Deep meditation is melting inward and rediscovering deep self-love.